My name is Colt Bruegman. This is my ranch here north of Wheatland on the Laramie River. We just run about 200 head of cows, raise a little boy. I'm a steer roper now. Most of my life I was a bronc rider, and I rode bulls and barebacks and saddle broncs mainly, and I fought bulls in the PRCA, and I got older and got injured and quit and just went to roping, and I've been steer roping about 8 years. I have an 8-year-old son, so our main focus is him. You know, what we're going to do with him during the day, and if we're going to gather cows or work cows, we do embryo transfer here. I try to get a horseback about every other day. If I'm not practicing, I'm checking cows or moving cows around a pasture, or in the summer we have to work our embryos 4 or 5 times, and in the wintertime we move between cells in the pastures. I try to get my horses rode about every other day. Sometimes I'll ride every day for a week, and then I might take a couple days off or be gone to a rodeo, but I get on horse about every day. Last year I went pretty hard, and I went to about 80 venues. I roped about 80 days. This year we'll probably 25 to 40 venues or 40 days, and that's split between the PRCA and jackpots and Arizona in the wintertime. Goes year round. From November is our national finals until Arizona in the winter, and then it starts over in the spring. I had a pain right here in my hip, and I went in and got an MRI, and it was a torn labrum. So they had scheduled surgery for October, and I was going to be out about 6 weeks where I couldn't get on a horse. And that was right at the end of my season, but I still didn't want to get laid up like that long. I wanted to be able to compete. So I was looking at alternatives. A friend of mine, Barry Rice, had went to Rachel and had his shoulder done, and he said, you ought to go check out what this lady does. Caught a hold of Rachel and then went down and seen her. But the torn labrum didn't allow me to pick my leg up. So I was having to like reach down, pick my leg up and pull it up to get my socks on, and I have to hop that foot up high to get in the left stirrup, so it was really impeding my steer roping. And I'd been under some major surgeries before, but it was still going under the knife and just not wanting to go do the surgery right away. The surgeon told me when I explained to him what I was going to do, he said that won't work. So I said, well, for the money, I'm going to try it. I can always go have surgery. You know, it did work. It worked 100%. So it was worth it. I haven't had surgery. I haven't had any pain. I was out a week and then went back to roping, and I only stayed off a horse for a week because she told me to. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about it. It's 100% pain-free. It's been a couple of years now, 2 or 3 years. About 4 months after I had it done, I was noticing my right side was kind of achy. And I said, hey, is there anything in that shot that would have transferred the pain? And she said, no. She said, your right side was always a little bit achy. You just never noticed it because the left side hurt so bad. So since the left side's healed, the right side, now you can notice it. But my right side's not near what my left side was. And I'll probably have another injection put in my right side, knowing what good it did for me in that left. With the pain, and I was falling when I'd get off, that was starting to affect my competition. Some people would see me step off and I'd fall to my knees, and then they'd say, man, you slipped or fell down. I was like, I can't support my right leg. Same thing when I'd get back on, I couldn't jump in the stirrup, just jump and hope that I caught it with my toe. I think once there was pain-free, it just got better and better, and I started getting that confidence back and getting off quick and not protecting it. It's a mindset that takes a little bit to be pain-free and then realize that worked. You hesitate because you don't know if it's going to continue to work, but every day just got better and better. I think sometimes when we are pain-free, we don't realize how lucky we are. When you have a new pain, or you pull a fingernail off or something, you're like, I took it all for granted, I guess. And so now being pain-free on this left side, it's out of sight, out of mind. But I do think about it every morning when I put my socks on, how that leg just comes up there, no problem, and I put that sock on, and then this one's a little bit different. It's got a little bit of tug in it, but nothing like the other one was. Number one, I didn't know what to expect. As cowboys, we don't want to ask too many questions because we don't sometimes want to know the answer. We don't care. And so I didn't know what she was going to do. Went in that room, and of course, this is a pretty sensitive area. There's a doctor in there. Rachel used the ultrasound to pinpoint the spot. The doctor injected it. And before the injection, he had asked me to put my foot up on the table, and I couldn't do it. And I told him I just can't do it. There's no way that I can put my foot up on the table. I'd have to reach down and grab my leg and put it up there. And then immediately after the injection, he told me to put my foot up on the table. And once again, I told him, I just can't. There's no way. And he said, just try. And I did it. And I just turned to him. I was like, it works that fast? And he said, oh, no, I put some Novocaine in there. He said, I just wanted to see if I hit the right spot. So that's how he knew that he had hit the right spot, because I was pain-free. So that was kind of a funny little moment between Doc and me. I walked out of there, and it was a little bit sore. I gave it 6-7 days off, and it just kept getting better and better. And it took about 2 months for it to be, I think, mentally and physically, till I was like, hey, I don't feel anything. It just got better and better every day. Well, I flew in and flew out that same day. It was in Phoenix, and it was in the summer. I think it was in August, and it was hot down there, but we just got a flight. Me and Holly and Quinn just flew down there, and we had the injection and flew home. It was simple. And I don't know that the procedure is 100% works for everybody in every situation, but if you're thinking about having surgery, I think you should give this a try. I mean, I've had back surgery and I broke my back riding bucking horses and had my legs broke and my feet. And so I think you're always going to come up with some inflammation, you know. If there was something that put a halt to my roping, I wouldn't hesitate to do it. I'd do it in my wrists, my shoulder, anywhere I had pain where it stopped me from roping, and so far nothing's done that yet, but I wouldn't hesitate. Getting the injection extended my career because without the injection, if I wouldn't have injection, I'd had a surgery. If the surgery would have worked, I'd have been fine. But if I wouldn't have got the injection and the surgery, say, wouldn't have worked, I'd have been done. I'd had to quit steer roping. It added however many years to my steer roping, and it also added it pain-free and confidence-wise. I can step off a horse, you know, going wide open now and not worry about it. That's a big deal to me. You know, I'm not a doctor. I can't guarantee. I don't know what's wrong with you, but it worked for me. If you're not willing to go have surgery, if you don't think surgery will work, you ought to at least talk to her, because she'll tell you the truth. But I think we're on the cusp of being able to figure out, not the fountain of youth, but being able to put something in a human's body that helps them heal instead of always going in with the knife, you know, heal from the inside naturally. And I think we need to look more into that. Unfortunately, maybe drug companies don't make enough money off of what Rachel does, but there was several people didn't make tens of thousands of dollars because Rachel's procedure worked. Sometimes that's not always the best motivator to do the right thing. I'm just real grateful for her, and I'm glad that I was able to get in there and she helped my roping career. Number one thing I could tell people from experience, I lived with broke my back in Salinas in 1998, and I lived with it for 2 years. And the minute that we went in and had it fixed, I was pain-free from that moment on. So the one thing I would try to tell people is if you are in pain, go get it fixed. I think Rachel's procedure works outstanding. It may not work for everybody, but there's no reason to live with pain. There's stuff out there now like Rachel and her product that can help you and be pain-free right away. And like I said at the beginning, I think we take it for granted when we don't feel pain, and then when we do feel pain, we don't remember what it was like to be pain-free. So I think she can help you get there.